Hi everyone, it's Natalie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all my very belated book haul. Once again, I'm late at sharing with you all my book haul for no good reason. I just didn't feel like filming one until now, so here we are. Before I get started on my May and June book haul, let me just remind you that down below in the description you will find links to resources of what you can do to support the Black Lives Matter movement. As for this book haul, as always, I will divide it between the books that I bought for myself and the books that I got from the library. So let's get right to it. First, I'm going to talk about the books that I got for myself. The first book I'm going to be talking about is actually one that I got as a gift from Anna from Books and BS. That book is A Siren's Call by Lucy Camus. This book is technically a printed out fanfic, which I am more than delighted to read. I haven't picked it up yet because I'm trash, but that's not the point here. The point here is that this is a Yuri on Ice fanfic, and it's an AU where our main character Yuri is a siren and his love interest Victor is a pirate. And it's just about the two of them falling in love and I think like murdering people. I don't know, there was a murderous element here, but I don't know what it is exactly because I haven't read it myself. The point is that I'm excited about it. The next book I got for myself is Bonds of Brass by Emily Skrutsky. Listen, I don't know much about this book. I just know that it's been compared to basically the ship Finpo from Star Wars, and I am ready for that, okay? I am so ready. Is there absolutely anything else I can tell you about this except that comparison with that ship from Star Wars? No. And I don't care. And I don't care because it just seems like it's gonna be a fucking good time and I'm just ready for it. The next book I got for myself is The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is the second book in the Folk of the Air trilogy. I really needed this one to complete my set because I had The Cruel Prince and The Queen of Nothing both in these Barnes & Noble exclusive editions with these beautiful black covers, so I finally gave in and I got it. In this book series, we're basically following our main character Jude, who is kidnapped and taken to the Feylands. In the Feylands, she decides that the best way to survive is to be as vicious and cruel as she possibly can. And so there's a lot of political intrigue and shit that happens, but honestly this is a pretty popular series, so if you don't know what it's about, like where the hell have you been? Clearly it hasn't been booktube. So that's that on this one. The next book I got was The Queen of the Conquered by Case and Callender. I know absolutely nothing about this book. Really, nothing. I just know that it was part of that whole snake trend that happened in book covers last year. Was it last year? I think it was last year. But I don't know anything about it. All I know is that I really wanted to start reading things by Case and Callender, and it was on sale on Amazon for Kindle. So I was like, you know what? Let's fucking buy it. Let's fucking do it. So yeah, all I know is that it's a fantasy novel. Literally, that's all I know. I will find out more whenever I pick it up. The next book I got is Burn by Patrick Ness. In this book, we're following our main character, Sarah Dewhurst, who lives with her father, and they're both hiring a dragon to help them tend the fields that they own. But this is not something that is commonly done. Only very poor people need to resort to hiring dragons. But tension starts arising because the dragon knows a prophecy, and Sarah seems to be at the center of it. I don't have much to say about this. I bought this because I'm a Patrick Ness stan, and unfortunately this disappointed me. It's a beautiful cover though, so at least there's that. The next book I got is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. In this book, we're following our two main characters, Yahaira and Camino. The two of them are basically estranged sisters. They don't know they're sisters, but when their father dies in a plane crash, their lives entwine and they start to figure out some of the secrets that their father was hiding. This is yet another book that I bought because I'm a stan. Elizabeth Acevedo only writes glorious shit, so obviously I needed to get my hands on this, and so I did. The next book I bought is The Tea Dragon Festival by Katie O'Neill. This is the sequel to the Tea Dragon Society. I don't know much about what this sequel is about, and I don't really care because the Tea Dragon Society was really fucking cute. It's basically about a girl who starts learning about the Tea Dragon Society, which is basically this group of people who have little dragon pets. They're tea dragons, and so basically they produce leaves and flowers that can be made into tea. So it's just wholesome shit. It's just wholesome shit. I really enjoyed the first one, so of course I had to get my hands on the second one. And I'm super excited to read it because again, it was so fucking cute. The first one was so fucking cute, so I'm really hoping this warms my heart and spirit. The next book I bought is Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert. Mainly I bought this one, let's just be straight up about it, because the author is black and I love werewolf stories apparently, so I was like, sure, let me get my hands on this romance novel. So I did. Hopefully I'll be reading it soon. I haven't been keeping on top of my ebooks lately, so I'm like, I need to get my shit sorted. And I will. I know I will. The next book I bought is Pink Slip by Katrina Jackson. This one I'm super excited to read. It's another polyamorous romance by my queen, Katrina Jackson. So in this one we're following, I think, the secretary of two spies, and it's about the romance that develops between the secretary and the spies, and I am so fucking hype. I'm ready. So ready. So fucking ready. The last book I'm going to be talking about was actually a gift from one of my friends, and it's The Ballad of Black Tom. Once again, I don't know anything about this book. I just know that I think it's like a reimagining or a retelling of like the Uncle Tom story or something like that. Some kind of classic is being retold and reimagined in this book. All I know is that I've heard excellent things about it, so I really do want to read it very soon. Now I'll be talking about some of the books that I checked out from the library. The first one is The Widows of Malabar Hill by Sujata Macy. Now I'm holding a physical copy of this because I own a physical copy of it, but I got it from the library as an audiobook. In this one we're following our main character Praveen, who works for her father's law firm. Now Praveen's father gets an interesting case that makes Praveen suspicious. She's suspicious because it's about 3 women who have just been recently widowed, and they're apparently giving away all their worldly goods to charity. Because of that, Praveen decides to investigate what's really going on, because if those women truly give away all they have to charity, there's not really much they can do to sustain themselves. So she goes to find out what's really going on. I already read this. I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna keep this physical copy or not, because I enjoyed this book, but I didn't enjoy it super much, so I'm not super attached to keeping this copy of it. But I don't know, maybe I'll keep it, maybe I won't. There is still time to decide. The next one is also one that I own a physical copy of, and it's We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. In this book, we're following 2 main characters. One of them is known as the Hunter because she goes into the woods to hunt food for her people. The other main character is the son of the Sultan. Now, their paths entwine because the Huntress is told about how to find a book that could bring back magic to the people, so she decides to go after it. But the son of the Sultan is sent out to kill her because the Sultan doesn't want magic to come back. This is one that I read as an audiobook from the library, and I'm definitely not keeping my physical copy. I simply did not enjoy this enough to want to keep it, which makes me sad because I really wanted to love this, but it just didn't happen, so it's gonna go. The next book I picked up from the library was The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. Once again, I read this as an audiobook, so I already own a physical copy, but I wanted to mention it since I did check it out from the library and I actually listened to it versus read it with my eyes through this copy. I'm not really gonna explain what this book is about because, again, it's the 3rd book in the Folk of the Air trilogy. I already talked about The Wicked King, so there's no point going on further about this one. The next book I got was Our Wayward Fate by Gloria Chow. In this book, we're following our main character who lives in rural Illinois, and she's the only Asian girl that goes to her school. But when a new boy moves into town and he's also Asian American, they both start forming a bond and start getting closer to one another. And it's basically about the romance that develops between the 2 of them and about our main character discovering some family secrets. I absolutely adored this, and I'm very much looking forward to buying a physical copy of it. The next book I got from the library was In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. I should just give up and say that most of the books that I get from the library are audiobooks, so yes, this is another audiobook that I checked out from the library. This one is Carmen Maria Machado's memoir, and in it she explores a toxic and abusive relationship that she was in. It's a beautifully written memoir, and I would definitely recommend you pick it up, and I'm so happy that I checked it out from the library because it was very much worth it, although it's very much a serious topic, so tread lightly if it's triggering for you. The next one I got is This Is Kind of an Epic Love Story by Case and Calendar. Here we have Case and Calendar once again, but I actually read this one and I recently posted a video where I'm talking about it, so I will leave that up in the cards above. In it, we're basically following our 2 main characters, Nathan and Oliver. Oliver had previously moved away from town, but he's now back in town, and so it's about the friendship between Nathan and Oliver kind of rekindling and starting up again. It's also about Nathan discovering what he wants to do with his future and how he's going to accomplish his dreams of being a screenwriter. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I already have a video up talking all about it, so just know that I personally enjoyed it. The next book I got from the library was White Fragility. This is a nonfiction novel that explores exactly that, the term white fragility. What does it mean and how can it be addressed? How can white people deal with how they feel when they do something racist and how they can respond more appropriately? I definitely enjoyed this and I would definitely recommend it as a kind of starter to thinking about problems and issues of race. I also got An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon from the library. In this book, we're following our main character Aster, who lives on a spaceship that is reminiscent of the antebellum South. In this ship, Aster is basically trying to figure out what happened to her mother 25 years ago. How did she die? Why did she die? Is there more to her death than meets the eye? I have already talked about this book and I'm pretty sure it's in the same video where I talked about this is kind of an epic love story, so just check out that video if you want more of my thoughts. For general thoughts, this is absolutely a new favorite of the year and I'm so happy I read it and I fucking loved it. The next book I got was So You Want to Talk About Race. This is a nonfiction novel and the title is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically walking the reader through how to address certain racist situations and what you can do to not only improve your own behavior but also stop and intervene in racist situations. Would definitely recommend picking it up. The last book I'm going to be talking about is The Revolution of Birdie Randolph. In this book we're following our main character Birdie, who has very overprotective parents. Because of that, she hasn't really developed a relationship with her aunt. But when her aunt comes to visit, they start finding that they kind of get along. And so the book is basically about Birdie finding out family secrets, which again, I'm trash for. I absolutely fucking love when I read books where her main characters are finding out shit that their family didn't want to talk about. I'm like, yes, thank you, please give it to me. So I think my reaction shows that I absolutely fucking love this and I'm very much looking forward to talking more about it in a future video. So that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments below some of the books that you've bought recently. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to follow me on any of my social media, I will leave the links to that down below in the description. But for now, see you next time.